Hi, I'm Shelly with Gilbert Marketplace, and today I'm going to show you how to make this wall light. This can be done a couple different ways, but this is a working light. Let me find the switch here. So it lights up, and so it's a farmhouse, wall art. You can put it wherever you'd like. I want to show, this does 3 ways actually, links and whatnot. I'm going to show you how I made this today. So what you're going to need is a plunger. We're going to cut that off at 4 inches and we're going to remove it from the stick. You will also need a set of these funnels, okay? Both of these you can get at the dollar store. The LED light you can also get at the dollar store. You will need some wood, and those are 11 inches. And you will need a board. Now obviously you can make this as long as you want. Mine are going to be pretty big because I was thinking of putting them in the laundry room. So this is my size board that we are going to work with today. And you'll need some scissors, white paint, black paint, stain. I'm going to use Early American. You will need a spool. You don't need the ribbon, but we're going to use this as our shape. Some paint brushes, the gloves, and some screws. Okay, let's get started. This is a lengthy project. What you're going to do is start by painting your plunger black, and you can use chalk point or whatever you want. I did spray this, and I will tell you it wasn't very successful on this. I don't know why. One of the paints I used, and I can't remember which one I used, worked great and the other one did not. But to get our shape, this will be our little socket to basically hold on the lamp. So that's what we're going to use to make that look like that. So what I did is I used a spool. You can use a cup, you can use whatever you want, but all I did is trace it, and that we'll just center it right on there and trace it. Now we have our line, and just a pair of scissors, believe it or not, will do the trick. We can just cut into that, and we will just do a nice even job of cutting our plunger. This is not very difficult, although it looks like it, but it's seriously not. So you really don't need to waste all that paint, but I did because I just thought on video would be a little easier, but it's awfully sticky. Okay, so that is going to be my flange. Now, what I'm going to do, since it is so sticky, I am going to just paint it with my black chalk paint so that hopefully it will dry a little bit better. That tends to not take as long to dry. So I'm just going to texturize it just with my black paint so it will look like metal. Make sure you do your edges, otherwise you'll have that rubber orangey color, and that's not going to look too attractive. And like I said, I'm just kind of texturizing it by stempling it with my stiff paint brush and going around it so that it will look like my flange. Now I see there's a little piece of rubber, so I'm going to cut that a little bit better so it looks real good. But believe it or not, these are super easy. And these, if you had to buy them in metal, are about $7 a piece, so they're super expensive. So I think this is like a really super good alternative. So that, I'll just give my pole a coat so it's nice and black. Okay, we're just going to get that down on there. It's kind of real industrial. So we're just gonna set those aside. Now, this can go in the garbage. This, I'm not gonna paint it all. Since it comes in black, we're just going to cut that apart. We'll use those for some other project sometime. Okay, so we have our light bulb. We don't really have to do anything for that, really, neither. And we have that drying. And what I will do to make this look like wood, this technique, let me move these out of our way, is kind of non-conventional. Nobody would really do this in the staining world, but I'm going to because I like the look of it. So I use a chip brush. You know, they're like 50 cents at the hardware store. And I just use and make lines real light with my white. Now, the idea of this is that when I stain it, that is not going to stain. It will cover it, but it won't really cover it 100%. And that's what's gonna give you that farmhouse look. So you can see it's not super, super dark, but I'm gonna come here along the side and I just randomly put those in there. Okay, so a little on the edges, and I'm just going to do that like that. Okay, now with my black, I'm just gonna use the same paintbrush and I'm just gonna make a few streaks here and there. Yeah, just like real wood. It would just have a little grain like that. I mean, obviously this is real wood. Now, if you watched me on YouTube, you will see that you can do the same technique on foam board. But I really wanted this to, you know, last and be pretty strong, so I'm making it on real wood. Okay, so now I have that done. We will be done with the paint. Like I said, it's not a lot, you're just putting a little in. I recommend you wear a pair of gloves for this because stain is a little messy. You know what, I'm gonna do these while I'm at it. So this way, when I put the stain on, I can do them all at the same time. So let's just, now it's making gray. So I'm gonna use my other brush. There we go. And I got a lot on there. Maybe I just wipe some of it off. There you go. Okay, so like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. That's kind of just, you know, putting some lines on it. Okay, now I wouldn't recommend doing this in the house. However, it's 120 degrees outside here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I am doing it in the house and it really does stink. So I will be quick with this. But you, like I said, you do want to wear a pair of gloves. I just have an old rag. And what we're going to do is we're going to just obviously stain the board. Now, if you get to the point where that black, you do not like it and you think it is too dark, then at the very, very end, you could hit it with a sander. But if you can see, hopefully, because the board's laying down, where I left it white, almost turns it like a tan color, okay? So you will see by adding the paint, the variations in the color. It looks weathered. Let me turn this board around. Maybe you can see a little bit better on camera down there. It has the weathered. You see a little bit of the black. You see the white. Even though, like I said, stain doesn't really soak into paint, but it covers it. So one is oil-based and one is water-based, so that's why I said it's not a traditional technique that, you know, most people would do, because most people would say it can't be done, but it can be done. It's just not a real practical way. But like I said, it gives you a really cool technique, and I like it. So that's why I'm on here showing everyone how to do it. I think it looks great. And I will be sanding that down a little bit just because that black is a little bit dark, but it's really okay. And just make sure you do all your sides. We'll show you that a little bit better while I do this end. Okay. So now we have our board. We will have our cross boards. Let me just do those real quick. You can see where I put a lot more. Okay, so this is part 2. I don't know what happened there. The video stopped. So we will continue on. So as I was saying, I stapled these with the staple gun at 3 inches at the top and 3.5 inches at the bottom. So now I have my stained farmhouse board. Okay, so next we will get our funnel and our light and our little I guess flange is what they call that. There's a little bit of trimming here. Okay, so I will measure so that they're exactly the same, and that's going to be at about 2 inches. So I will put this at about 2 inches from the neck. Okay, whoops, back that up right there. Okay, and then we need to center it. And this is 11, so 5.5, that's about right. We will get our little screws, and they are not, you know, big screws, but typically a flange has 4, so we will kind of repeat what it really looks like. And we'll take that and we'll put one right here, helps put the screw, and that will hold that down. Some people said you could hot glue it. Like, again, I'm trying to make it last, so I want to use some real screws. And we will put one up here. And you could, like I said, hot glue it, but I just wanted a little bit sturdier. So that is now how our flange looks. It's all screwed on, and usually they're in the 4 position. We will put on the neck of the plunger, and I will set that aside a second. Now this does have a, you got some paint on there. It does have a thing on the back, so I want to use that at the back. So you'll put a screw in the middle and in the middle of this. But before we do that, what I found works the best is to pull the string that it's on through, and we will use E6000 and hot glue and put that right on here. It will not affect it because once it dries, this comes out, and that's where your batteries go. So you can actually just glue this piece on, and this piece will still be a working, you know, light, and then you could change the batteries. So that's what I did. So I just pull it in there and then I hot glue that in. And it can be a little bit messy, but with the E6000 and the hot glue, it will stay real well. What I did after that is I just took and knotted this, but when I went through this, I believe it hit my screws, so it held it on extra good. So I'm going to do it that way again. Like I said, normally I would add a little glue in E6000, but I don't want to do that on camera just because honestly, it will take time. So what we're going to do is then put a screw, and I did that at about 1.5 inches, and recommend that we just get a little started here. And you could use a pilot hole to help with that by putting that in. But I'm going to go right through here. And I can feel it's twisting around my fabric, which is, you know, what I kind of wanted. And then I will tighten this right on here. Now, I don't want to tighten it so much that it actually bends my shape. Like, that's a little bit much. And like you can see, this string didn't really catch on that screw. However, it's okay because I could actually tie it in there if I want. And like I said, with the E6000, it should be fine. So I'm going to back this out just a little bit because I don't want it to bend my plastic here. So that's all I did. So you can see that it was a nice, simple, quick project. And once this is E6000 in and the batteries are in, you have yourself a beautiful wood rustic lamp. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And again, it's Shelly with Gilbert Marketplace, and you can follow me on YouTube. I'm on Pinterest, and I'm also on Home Talk. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.